Good morning. Welcome to the ZiaWoolz StudioBuzz podcast, episode 41. My name is Doug, and this is a podcast about yarn, about wool, about spinning, about fiber arts, and I am coming to you from Albuquerque in New Mexico, where I live with my family and where I dye my yarn continuously inspired by the beautiful desert of New Mexico. I want to start with something which I designed a few years ago. I'm sorry, I have a new microphone and I hope this is all working out well with the sound. But this is something that I designed a few years ago, and I think it was the first pattern I ever uploaded to Ravelry. It is not a very fancy pattern. And I think if you need a larger size, you're gonna have to do some modification. The pattern probably only accommodates smaller sizes, I want to say, and if you are larger busted, you would have to make some modifications to have it fit you, like do a decrease so it comes together, and maybe possibly even knit a little bit further down. What I like about it is that it's just a nice thing to wear over a high-waisted dress. And that's why I saw it the other day and I thought, I never talked about that on the podcast. It would be nice to show you. See, I have this where it's the skirt of my dress starts about here, and so this is perfect to throw on over it if I need a little bit more coverage and warmth. I used 2 yarns which I held together. You know, I like doing that, and one of them was an alpaca blend and the other one was something with a cotton and a little more variation. I've made these with different yarns. So what else about this? I crocheted along this edge. And of course, there's a lot of ways and options to modify this. Longer sleeves. Also, you could say, well, I've done my increases in the front where I've come together in the middle to get my button closure, but then you could continue straight if you wanted a long cardigan. I have to warn you, if you look up this pattern, you will, or even more, if you purchase the pattern, it is made cheap on purpose because it's not a very fancy pattern. My schematic for the measurements is hand drawn. And like I said, I don't have a lot of variation to accommodate different sizes. So that's why I decided, hey, this is my first pattern. I'm going to publish this really at a very affordable price, so people don't get mad at me saying paying too much. I mean, if you get a really expensive pattern, you get all the variations, but also you pay for the value. And I didn't think, I mean, not that I don't think this is valuable, but yeah, well, I hope you understand what I mean. That was this. I have finished the other cardigan that I showed you last time, which will be the next pattern for me to come out with, and hopefully a little more, maybe a little more fancy than that one. I had not woven in my ends and it didn't have a button in the front, so I did all that. This will be eventually published as the Casa cardigan. For this one, I talked about it at length last time. I don't want to go into it. I thought I'd bring it so you see I have really woven in all my ends, but also I wanted to show you the button, which is so cute. I tried a bunch of different ones, all of them sparkly, which I really wanted because I have sparkle yarn here. But the larger ones that I initially thought I was going to use, they had some rhinestones and they were larger. But then I thought, once I put them on, I thought they were too much in your face. Hey, look at me. I'm the cool bling bling button. And not, I thought it was too distracting from the cardigan. Took away from the cardigan. And so I think this one was the perfect choice. It has a little bit of bling, but not too much to distract. So that was that. I had a last minute cast on, cast off thing. I have made a pair of fingerless gloves for my son's girlfriend, who is, I know, very knit worthy, because I gifted her a little pencil pouch and she keeps telling me how much she loves it. I mean, she's a sweetheart. So I asked her, what's your favorite color? She's in college in Boston, and I already gifted, I once gave a pair of fingerless gloves to someone whose daughter was in Boston, who wore those in the house, because this desert kid was not used to Boston cold. And so I thought, yes, she's in Boston, she's going to love these, even though she's going to probably need outside a pair of full-on warm mittens. These are going to be great for in the house. So I made her the fingerless mitts. I have written, last year I had published the pattern for these for many different yarns and a variation of needle sizes. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. They're called Duke City Mitts. And I think the reason why I wanted to publish that is that I thought people want to knit with their hand spun, they want to knit with what they have, and who knows, different needle sizes. And so that was my thought process why I came out with the pattern, because I've made so many of these. And you have a lot of options that you can come up with on your own to make the cuff and how you finish these in the front. A lot of times I purl one round and then I knit to cast off, and that's what I did here. She said her favorite color is pink and next is yellow, so I wanted to incorporate both of these. And I'm going to put one on. I make them pretty long, which I personally like. Ooh, are you dizzy yet? I'm so sorry. And I used needle size 5.5 millimeters. And my yarns are my leftover ZiaWoolz DK yarn from my Ashes sweater in a colorway which I don't remember right now, even though I love this colorway. Pink and orange and speckles. It's super cute. And I found this fuzzy yarn, which was a commercial yarn that I once had over dyed long time ago. I don't even remember what the fiber content is, except for I know it has alpaca in it. So I held these two together. Perfect. And for the yellow stripes, I held this double, which is also a ZiaWoolz discontinued DK yarn, sadly discontinued because I can't get it anymore. It's a blend of alpaca, merino, and just 10% silk. The really sweet, nice, soft feel. So this one I held double for these stripes. And so I'm done with these. So they can be shipped off. First, it was, oh my goodness, I haven't even told you about Fiona's birthday. We had a fun celebration. I got everything done that I was working on for her as gifts. I got the Edda bag done and on time, so she got 4 Edda bags. I made her I sewed several bags because she likes zippered bags as much as I do. And one of them is actually a bag, which I made for both of us. So I brought you mine so that you can see. And so this is the sock size, which I usually make for the shop also. But also I have finished I got the dream catcher done for her. And indeed, I used the 3 hoops that I was talking about last time. And I'm going to have to insert a movie for you because it's hanging still in our living room, but I took a movie of it so you can see it. It's really, really, it turned out so nice and she loved it so much. So that was really a full success. And where was I going with this? Oh yes, September, birthdays. So so it was her birthday first, and now it's my son's girlfriend's birthday, and then my birthday, which is the reason why we will be traveling yet again, because my husband decided to take me away on a fun trip, and we will be leaving on Friday, which is really great. So I am, of course, thinking about what to bring on this trip. There's one project that I've worked on so much these past 2 weeks or 10 days, however long it's been, that I have not worked on my meristem shawl. And I'm trying to figure out how far I was last time, but you definitely have seen this. What I am talking about is my fog cutter made with hand spun yarn patterned by the wonderful Thea Coleman. And it was so much fun. I mean, when you spin yarn and then you get to knit with it, it's really special. And so this is where I am. I finished the back of the sweater. I have not changed anything, almost. You know, I started off changing some stuff and then I ended up having to rip twice. So I stuck with the instruction, except for I did not want a very baggy sleeve. And I've told you that before. It's just something that I personally don't like so much for myself. And so I took away measurement wise about an inch in, oh here, about an inch in the width of the sleeve. Done with this and started the front, and I will show you this. The lace pattern, a little bit demanding, I confess. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just gonna also, I'm probably gonna grow into it. It's slowly getting better. This is where I am on the front. The ribbing is a little bit shorter in the front, and it's going to be open on the sides up to here. I am making this with, I think it's 4.5 millimeter needles. I'm using ZiaWoolz, and I think I mentioned last time that I was a little bit worried about the amount of yarn that I have, and oh yeah, I did show you the braid that I dyed, which turned out pretty good to match the sweater yarn. Maybe a little bit darker, but I think it's going to be okay if I need it at all, because surprisingly, I did not expect this. I am still on the second skein, so that's really promising. I have a total of 4 skeins, and I will not need the yardage that is given in the pattern, because my sleeves are going to be slimmer too. So maybe I'm going to be fine after all. But I already started spinning that braid. One of them I put in the shop. The other one I spun 1/2, and now I'm going to spin the other half to be plied. Yes, it's exciting. So if I need the yarn that I'm spinning right now, and it is indeed a slightly darker, it's going to be fine, because then I'm just going to even things out on the sleeves. And I think I told you a while ago that I made the mistake that I got so excited with my new drum carder that I blended one of the braids. I blended it on the drum carder, and I had forgotten that I had already spun 2 braids because I couldn't find them. I had no idea where I put them. Of course, obviously, then I found them, but now I have, I think it's 2 that are spun, 2 skeins that are spun from the braid, and then I got 2 skeins that are spun from the carded braid, which if you don't know what it does, it blends the colors more. And I have a natural white and a very pale blue, so those 2 are more blended into each other, where here, where it's spun from the braid, I mean, you essentially see kind of a little bit of a stripy thing going on. I do funny things sometimes, I tell you. So those were my projects, and I have told you about the upcoming trips, so that's the reason why I've been thinking about possibly other projects to bring. I don't want to bring the wool sweater, and the reason not so much being that I don't knit wool when it's hot, or where it's hot, but it's more that I would have to bring a lot of bulk in yarn, plus then it's kind of a lot of thinking where I have to do my sleeves. Actually, the sleeves are knitted from the cuff upward, which I don't want to do. I'm going to close my shoulders, and then I'm going to pick up the stitches and knit down. I mean, I'm going to be fine seaming here, that's okay, but I don't want to do a seam here, so I'm going to pick up stitches. And so that's not something that I want to bring. Just a little too complex, a little bit too much yarn. So I was looking at, actually I opened my personal stash, my non-ZiaWoolz stash the other day, and I can't remember why. Well, it's just always fun to look at your stash, right? So I took a peek, and I immediately, this yarn jumped in my face, and I already balled it up because I thought I may be bringing it. It is a 100% bamboo yarn, and it is dyed by Theodora's Pearls. It's for by fingering about 400 yards, and these are definitely different. I don't know if you see it, I see it, but with what I have in mind, it's not gonna matter. What I picked is Seemannsgarn, which is a reference to sailing, boating. Yes, I have no idea what this means in English. And it is a German designer, but let me make sure, because I did read some other German stuff, but no, it's an English pattern. Yep, it's beautiful. Seemannsgarn. So that was one option, and I thought it's with the watercolored yarn and the reference to water and boating. I thought that would be a nice choice. Plus, I mean, bamboo, working with bamboo in the heat, that's good, right? But then along came something else, as it happens, you probably know. Yes. I came up with a new colorway, and boy, I mean, I'm not trying to, I want you to understand how much this means to me, because it is a colorway which I told my family, if this is the last thing I designed and I never get to dye again, it's gonna be fine. Because with this, I feel like I have captured the spirit and the essence of the desert, which makes me incredibly happy, because I love the desert. I know it's not for everyone, and you may say, what do you love about this? There's no bright colors. You're a gal of bright colors. Yes, I am, but the desert has a beauty with its subdued colors, shades of pale greens, sandy browns. And then when we get a rain, then you get the flowers, and it's so unexpected. You have this unexpected colors, like from blooms. It's just beautiful. I mean, this is where I'm so glad that life brought me here. This is really a place that I love, even though it would be nice to have a beach from time to time, but that's why you go on vacations, right? But enough talking. I want to show you the one skein that is still in the shop, because someone already snatched the first two after I listed them, and this is it. And I have named it Desert Flower. I will come a little bit closer so you can see the beautiful subtle variation in this guy. And it's so typical. It's not this in your face, bam, kind of beauty that some other colorways have. Like I just dyed up Boomtown, which is so beautiful. Is it back there? No, you can't see it, but yeah. I just love this so much. So I had to dye it on one of my favorite bases, Sugarloaf, as well, and that's what I picked for myself. And for the other pattern, you know that Melanie Burke gave an interview with Fruity Knitting, which I loved so much. So I saw all her shawls and it kind of put her back in my mind. And I had this one in my queue for a while, but now it was, I guess it kind of was one of those where it's like, man, I really have to look at her patterns again. Let's see what would work for this yarn. So I knew I wanted to use Desert Flower. This is Desert Flower on Sugarloaf. That's my light fingering 100% superwash merino. And I looked what I would like to combine it with, and I picked and found this pink. Sugarloaf, by the way, is the yarn which I used for the Pinot shoulder shrug, another one of my free patterns that are out on Ravelry. And it's a yarn which has a beautiful yardage of 560 yards per skein. It's really great. So I started just a little bit. Hey, look how far I got last night. Oh, can you even see anything? Nice variation in the pink. And I had, by the way, I had knitted the Pinot shoulder thing in pink, but I had gifted it to my cousin. So pink, everybody needs some pink in their life, right? So I was thinking the pink goes in the section by my face, which is the lighter color. It's just reversed the way she did it. So the bright pink is going to be here, then the dark green is going to be my Desert Flower, and then again the bright pink edge on the bottom. So yes, I'm excited about this. I don't think I'm going to bring the Seemannsgarn on the trip. I think this is going to be my project of choice to take on the trip, together with the Meristem my lace shawl, which is going to be something that I can work on in the evening, you know, when we're not out and about. This one is probably going to be simple enough for the car, at least for some time. Yes, I did not work on my Meristem lace shawl, which I showed you last time, because I was obsessing over the fog cutter, and then happened the fingerless mitts. I also, I didn't even bring it. The bath mat that I started with t-shirt yarn, I ended up frogging and re-knitting, because remember I showed you it was only this wide, so then I was going to go, the rectangle would be kind of this, and I kept pulling it. I thought it's going to be fine, but then I thought, it's probably not going to be fine. It's a guy with big feet, and who knows. I mean, you don't want to pull it all the time. So I think I had like 24 stitches, and I redid it with 40. And I ended up being a little bit traumatized, I almost want to say, because I knitted up that patterned t-shirt yarn that gave me only like this much knitted fabric, but I knitted all of that up in one evening with the for the wider new measurement with the 40 stitches, and my hands hurt. I did too much in one evening, so I stopped. I put that on hold for just a little bit, and I will start over again soon. I already bought some more t-shirts, and extra large, like this wide, so I get a lot of yarn out of my shirts, and then I will start over and just take it slowly, start slowly. I have done some spinning, but I spaced out and forgot it. And I have also, what was I going to say? Oh yes, there's so many. I've dyed up a lot of braids for the shop, and I put most of them in the shop, and they were so much fun. I did solar dyeing for the first time, which was just amazingly great and worked out beautifully in my driveway here, where it gets pretty hot with the sun hitting it. I'm thinking what else I wanted to tell you. Oh goodness, yes. Two things. It is green chili season, and this is all us New Mexicans. We love August and September when green chilies are in season, and they get roasted all over town. Grocery stores put out the roasters, and you can, usually on the weekends, you get your large amounts. You can buy your large amounts and get it roasted, or there are seasonal farm side stands roadside farm stands, and you can buy your green chili, which then gets portioned and frozen for the winter. And yesterday I bought green chili, a big amount. Let me think for a second. How much did I buy? I think I got 20 pounds. Did I got 20 or 25 pounds? No, I think I got 40 pounds. And I didn't take it out of the car right away because I had to do something. I can't remember. But then, so it stayed in the car for a little bit in the trunk. And it still smells. But I love it. But every time my daughter gets in the car, she's like, oh, this is terrible. Are you sure you didn't forget a bag of green chili in there? No, it's good. I'm excited. It's green chili season. Yeah, people here put their green chili in everything. You can either make a green chili stew with chicken when it's a little colder. Not yet. It's not the time for stew right now. But you eat your green chili in your scrambled eggs in the morning. You put it. You eat your huevos rancheros with green chili sauce. I make quesadillas these days almost every day with green chili and cheese, and that's for me. Nobody else likes it in my family. Last night I made green chili enchiladas. Can you tell my mouth is watering just talking about it? And my husband's like, oh, I can't eat this. This is too spicy. It made me laugh so much, so I'm like, okay, I'll make you spaghetti and you eat your boring spaghetti while I enjoy the green chili enchiladas. I usually get the medium. That's what I got this year, and I'm sure I'm going to be the only one eating this. Medium, 40 pounds of green chili in the freezer. So if you want to come by and visit and have some green chili, be my guest. So much about green chili. Yes, green or red is the question in restaurants when you go out to eat in New Mexico with local food. And if you like both, people call it Christmas, and I go for the green. Yeah. Yes. What else did I want to tell you? I know there was one more thing, and I've had questions about the rattlesnake. You may remember we had a rattlesnake in our backyard. After not seeing a rattlesnake for years and years, we had one in our backyard. I mean, I had actually never seen one in Albuquerque, even though I'm on the trails quite a bit, really close to us. And so this guy, we called someone to catch it. He let it get away, and we had no idea where it went. We thought it had a hideout in our garden, but we have never seen it again after that. So it must have left. And there's a gate towards the driveway with a gap, and one small gate in the backyard where you can get back into the desert. So he probably left, which is a good thing. I mean, they don't like us. They don't want anything to do with us. And but the other day, my daughter and her boyfriend, they were driving up a street here, not ours, the parallel to us, and all of a sudden she saw a snake, and she stopped, and she wanted to make it leave the road, because people sometimes run them over because they're afraid. I mean, like, there's so many more snakes than poisonous rattlesnakes. So they stop, and she lowers her window and leans out and takes a closer look and takes out her phone and films it, and it's a rattlesnake. And goodness, that guy, no comparison to what we had in the garden. That was one big sucker of a rattlesnake, and he was mean, and he was not in a good mood.
Snake. Oh, watch out. Oh my god, so scary. Wait, this is terrifying. Can it jump?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Ruffy, so scary. So scary. Wait, so cool. Look at it. Wait, this is the sickest thing. What? I wanted to get out of the street. I don't want someone to hit it.
Yeah, where she saw it, it was next to the house of on the street by a friend's house. So I called them and I said, hey guys, don't let your dog out. Don't be really alert if you walk the dog. There's this guy out that was just lounging on your street. Yeah. So much about New Mexican food and New Mexican wildlife, and I will be out of town, but then I will be back with you in about 3 weeks. By then, my dear friend Doris will be here, and hopefully she will join me for the podcast. I think she will. I'm pretty confident. So we're going to have some fun, the two of us, with you. In the meantime, be well and have fun with your yarns, and happy knitting. Bye.